Bobby Hoying back to pass. Good pickup by the offensive line. Doesn't find his receiver, Marksay, over the middle. Jermaine Mayberry, a key figure, the first-round draft choice. How's he doing, Ron?
Well, he's had a rough training camp. You know, he got pneumonia. He lost 40 pounds. Here he does a real nice job. Sticking and stay. That's what you learn as an offensive lineman, and he did that job there against Roy, Aophis Roy. I got to get that stuff out, Don. All these names we're working on late in the preseason, but I think Jermaine Mayberry has the potential to be an outstanding football player. First-round draft pick of the Eagles, small college guy, but a big offensive lineman. Call it 3rd down and 9 from the 12 once again for Bobby Hoying. Hoying back to pass, looking to the right side, under pressure. That was Diallo Banks with the near catch. He, of course, is the guy who had a nice catch against the Baltimore Ravens without a name on his back. They got a name for him now, but he's still on the bubble, to say the least, huh? Well, he is on the bubble. They're trying to get some balls to Burks and to Say to see what they can do with it. And I actually think in a situation like this, John Gruden is calling plays to focus on the guys that are on the bubble, to see if they can make some plays for his offense. Tommy Hutton will putt. Jaheen Arnold to receive for the Steelers. He's standing in his own 40. And he's going to go back beyond his 40, all the way to the 30. Brian Dawkins, the first man, misses him. He's crossed the 45, and that's where he's going to come down. Brian Dawkins, the aggressive young safety out of Clemson, projected as a starter before the end of the season. We have 13:47 to go in the game. Eagles 20, Steelers 6. We are back at Veterans Stadium, and if you want to talk about records that have stood the test of time, as the ladies dance to some records, check this out, Jaws. Longest held records by the two teams participating tonight. Your comments. Wow. Don Looney. Not to be confused with Joe Don Looney, and who was a Looney, but lived up to that name. I'll tell you, the guys in the truck, I mean, they are really working hard. I mean, they come up with useless stats like we are showing in this 4th quarter. Great job, though, guys. All right, the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to take over, operating from their own 47, 1st down and 10. Fred McAfee and John Whitman behind number 10, Cordell Stewart. Stewart with play fake. Lots of protection. Over the middle, wide open at the 35-yard line. Philadelphia Eagles give up a big gain to Corey Holiday. Cordell Stewart does a nice job with a play-action fake. That will hold the pass rush right in here. His offensive line does a real nice job of giving him a cushion right in this area, allowing the receiver time to work into this area. You give this guy this much time, the result is that completion. After a 19-yard gain, the Eagles giving up a little more territory on this play. A rushing attempt for the Pittsburgh Steelers, number 25, Fred McAfee, seeing a lot of action tonight. Hollis Thomas on the stop, another one of the guys on the bubble because of all the depth along the defensive line for this team. But let's talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers for a moment, Ron. In the Super Bowl a year ago, I know you're big on the KC Chiefs, and our pal Carl Peterson, who's here tonight watching the game as we look at some of the Steelers, Rod Woodson, the All-Pro. Will the Steelers be another Super Bowl contender this year from the AFC? Yes, they will be a contender, but I think they have fallen back a couple notches. When you lose, a Neil O'Donnell, the outstanding quarterback they had a year ago, you can't help but fall back. Stewart back to his 40, the Eagles 40 to pass. Over the middle once again, the man has been returning the punts, Jaheen Arnold. Bobby Taylor's still in there. Also, you see the number 24, who they're counting on a lot with the Eagles this year. Brian Dawkins, the young safety, is in there. So there are some guys who are going to be playing deep into regular season games still in the secondary. Yeah, and I'm a little bit surprised that the Eagles have changed their philosophy in this second half. In the first half, they were getting after the young quarterback, Jim Miller. They have another young quarterback in there, Cordell Stewart, and they've got a little more passive. It was effective rushing the quarterback in the first half. They have changed in the second half, and they have not been effective getting to the quarterback. Good analysis, Ron. 1st and 10 at the Eagles 16. Cordell Stewart scrambling to his right. He's under pressure. Inside the 20. Couple of hits. They were going after Cordell Stewart on that play. In particular, number 78, Hollis Thomas, trying to make his mark on film right now. Well, he just made a mark on Cordell Stewart. That's the mark he made. And that mark will be on film. And that mark will be on audio. Sights and sounds of the National Football League as we look at Hollis Thomas. Cordell Stewart in the passing department, 10 for 16, 109 yards. Right now he's got a 2nd and 6. Call it the 12-yard line.
Second man through, Fred McAfee. Fumble, ball on the ground, big scramble back at the 20-yard line. And the Pittsburgh Steelers will retain possession as it was the big scramble there. Interesting, Fred McAfee, as we look at the other quarterbacks for the Steelers. You see Tom Zach right there, and of course you saw Jim Miller, who had started tonight, taking some notes and watching Cordell Stewart. But Fred McAfee is a guy who's a veteran from the Saints.
Penetration is the key, and that's what you get right there from the defensive line. Hollis Thomas always comes up with the boy. It's ugly down at the bottom right now. It's ugly. The strongest guy wins.
Third and 14, call it from the Eagles' 20-yard line. Carl Churkin has an update on the sidelines as the delay penalty is called on the Steelers.
Golly, it was amazing that I was right in front of that crackback block where Greg Jefferson got leveled. He made a magnificent play coming back. Ray Rhodes always gives people an opportunity. Well, here was Greg Jefferson, gets blasted on one play, comes back, and on the very next play, he causes the fumble. And now he's got another place on this team. Back up to you.
Thanks, Carl. Of course, Cordell Stewart has had such a great career in college at Colorado. He's continuing to take the lion's share of the snaps tonight for the Steelers. And back to pass here. Going into the end zone. He has a man. Pittsburgh Steelers touchdown. Cordell Stewart to Andre Hastings. What was the breakdown, Ron Jaworski?
Well, Bobby Taylor just bit the short hook route and allowed the corner route go behind him. That's a mistake a rookie makes. Bobby Taylor has seen that hitch corner route 1,000 times. He jumped the hitch on third and long. Give him the 5-yard pass. He jumped that hitch. Consequently, the receiver goes behind him on the corner route for the touchdown. You'll see it right here as Stewart drops into the pocket. Bobby Taylor, number 21, came up. There he is. Now he vacated his area. That's a rookie mistake, not a veteran mistake. Cordell Stewart did a nice job of reading it.
Norm Johnson trying to make it a one-touchdown game. Just under 10 minutes to go in the game. He does it, and the Steelers are right back in it. 20-13, the Eagles lead. We'll be back with more fourth quarter action after this.
Steelers do a nice job of running their offense. You'll see right here the top receiver at the top just does a little button hook right in here. Hastings in the slot, goes up, pushes to the inside, and runs back to the corner. What Bobby Taylor does is jump the short route on third and long. Bobby should stay back here. You'll see the result right here when he jumps a little hitch. Hastings runs behind him. The result, the Steelers are back in the ball game.
Cordell Stewart reacting to the touchdown. He's 11-17 on the night, 134 yards as the hookup congratulate one another, and now that one touchdown on his 11-for-17 evening. Eagles up by 7, 9:46 to go in the game. Norm Johnson kicking off fourth quarter football. That's going to be Kevin Bowie across the 10, 20. Out past the 25, and here comes a flag that almost went 25 yards. Got to be the usual hold or block from behind.
And we're going backwards, and this is another point that Ray Rhodes talked to us about yesterday, the continuing penalties that the Eagles have had against themselves, and they have hurt them, and they've hurt them in critical times.
Hey, Ron, as we look at Bobby Hoying, let's talk about philosophy. It's the last preseason game. The regular season opens a week from now. You had a big lead as we listen to Johnny Greer make the call. Do you really need to win this game emotionally, or do you just stick with the plan of your substitution pattern?
Stick with the plan.
Okay.
The Eagles' first liners did an outstanding job. Right now, you are evaluating the personnel. And actually, I think Ray Rhodes is probably happy that it's now a tight ball game. You know, it's hard to test a guy in a blowout. This game is going to go, go down to a couple plays into the game. And it's a good way to see a Bobby Hoying in a tough situation. To see some of your young defensive guys in a tough situation. That's why it's a shame to see a veteran like Bobby Taylor make that mistake on a touchdown to Hastings.
All right, Bobby Hoying taking over first and 10 at his own 15-yard line. Marksay in motion. Give to the second man through, number 33, Bowie. He's tripped up in the backfield by number 57 for the Steelers. That, of course, is Eric Rabati, who's had a lot of hits. And how's Jermaine Mayberry doing? Again, he is really under a microscope.
Well, he certainly is. When you're a #1 pick, everyone's looking at. Here he comes down to the double team. He does a nice job right there. Boy, when you put your guy on the ground, that's getting the job done. And that's a very critical block when you've got the backside responsibility, so the defensive lineman cannot cross your face and go make a tackle down the line of scrimmage.
Of course, he's a Division II player, drafted, the Eagles said, because of the way Leon Lett dominated Guy McIntyre in the playoffs. But, of course, Guy McIntyre back for veteran leadership. He'll start next week at RFK. Bobby Hoying, play fake to Kevin Bowie, rolling to his left. He's going to keep the ball, take the slide. You love to see that in a young quarterback. You're projected as a star of the future. As a bunch of people on the sidelines went scrambling.
Well, Bobby Hoying played that not like a rookie in the preseason. He played it like a veteran. He saw all them big old monsters coming after him. He got down where it was safe.
All right, that's going to bring up a third down situation for the Eagles. Let's talk about Guy McIntyre. Ray Rhodes told us this week he didn't come here to be a backup, but he wasn't in camp. There were financial questions. Can he be an effective starter?
Absolutely. Guy McIntyre is a solid football player. They're already moving Jermaine Mayberry, who was penciled in as the left guard. They moved him out to left tackle. So you got to figure Guy McIntyre will go back in that position. Joe Panos may go to right guard.
62, one of the good guys in the game. Bobby Hoying under pressure. The flag as well. So they'll probably take the sack, disregard the holding. And the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to get the ball back in good field position, most likely, with just over 8 minutes to go in the game. Johnny Greer getting ready to make the call, and the second-team offensive line now in the game for the Eagles having a few problems, Ron.
Well, you'd normally expect that in a situation like this.
75, offense. It's decline. Fourth down.
You would expect it, but that doesn't make it right. You still have to protect the quarterback, and this is the Achilles heel of the Eagles through the preseason and last year. They didn't do a good enough job. Actually, Bobby Hoying never had a chance.
All right, Tommy Hutton again punting to Gene Arnold, who is standing at his own 40-yard line. He's going to come up and make the fair catch just into Eagles territory, and that's where the Steelers will operate from. The Eagles 49, 7:53 to go. Eagles lead, but only by 7.
Let's take a look at these Eagle bookends. You'll look right here. Oh, man, that's holding. That's, oh, gee, I'm only tearing his jersey away. Then we'll go up to Troy Drake on the top of your screen. I think I'll just grab him by the face mask. Jermaine Mayberry, Troy Drake, two rookies, holding like seasoned veterans.
Ray Rhodes will talk about holding and football each Sunday on Fox. The Ray Rhodes Show premieres at 10:30 exclusively on Fox Philadelphia next Sunday to get you ready for Eagles-Redskins regular season opener. Steelers down by 7, take over in Eagles territory. Cordell Stewart out to the right, bounces one, will bring up a 2nd and 10. Intended for Corey Holiday. What's the defensive look here in terms of personnel? I still see a Bobby Taylor, Troy Vincent. How are they going to do with some of the people here as they defended on Holiday?
Well, it's surprised that you're seeing these guys in there, but they need the work. You'll see Troy Vincent using a bail technique. In other words, get up out of the line and bail when he makes the route. He was beaten on that route, a poor throw by Cordell Stewart, or the Steelers would move the chains.
7:49 to go in the ball game. 2nd and 10 from the Eagles, 49 for Pittsburgh. Steve Avery, John Whitman, the backs behind Cordell Stewart. Stewart back to pass. Swing pass out to number 43, Steve Avery. Good running room inside the 40, inside the 35. Fumbles the ball out of bounds. They'll bring it back a little bit from the 35 probably, but a first down for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Nice play call.
The Steelers do a nice job of setting this screen up. Cordell Stewart sets in the pocket, looks down the field, draws the rush to him, and dumps it off to Avery. They get the lineman out in front of him. Avery with a nice cutback, picks up 15 yards. Steelers are getting in scoring range right now.
Take a look at Steve Avery. He's been released 7 times in his 5-year National Football career, trying to stick one more time with the Steelers. We now have a 1st and 10 from the Eagles, 37. Stewart straight back to pass. Over the middle, looking for a tight end, incomplete. Threw it behind John Farquhar, and that's another example of Cordell Stewart. That can be a completion if you sing it.
Well, you know, we talked about location of the throw. You throw it away from the defender. He threw it towards the defender. We watched Ty Detmer throw the ball in the right area, and Stewart knows it right there. Location, location, location. Put it between the numbers.
His numbers now are 12 for 20, 146 yards, 1 touchdown on the night. And pretty good crowd here tonight at the Vet. Many of them heading out at 10:10 in the evening. And don't forget, the 10 o'clock news continues in its entirety right after our ball game. 2nd and 10 for the Steelers. Stewart, right side. He has his man, Corey Holiday. Corey Holiday bulldogged to the ground by Troy Vincent. And Troy Vincent, how's he done tonight? After the New England game, a lot of disappointment among the Eagles coaches. What's it look like this evening,
He
Ron?
still appears to be playing a little bit soft. Troy Vincent, throughout his career, has been known as a physical player. Get in your face, grab you, bump you, knock you down, take you off your route. He seems to be using that bail technique, and, you know, maybe something that he's taught new